here live in New York City at our CBS College Sports studios, and we continue to break down the bracket. The Kansas Jayhawks lost all 5 starters but are back and will try and defend their title as the number 3 seed. Head coach Bill Self making a good case for Coach of the Year. He joins us now. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. How do you feel about your first-round draw up against North Dakota State?
Well, I'm nervous. You know, anybody has a player and go for 60+ in a game makes you nervous, and they certainly have that. Haven't seen much tape on them. I have watched them play a little bit in the championship game, and of course, you know, they made all the plays down the stretch to win a great game there. But you know, I think we got a tough draw. But you know, I think all the teams in the tournament got tough draws. To be honest with you, I think once you get in the tournament, the game should be hard. It's a great tournament, and games are certainly hard to win.
Well, let's switch gears for just a second. This week you're teaming up with DirecTV for their own Mega March Madness. What does that all involve? Well,
I'm promoting the Mega March Madness, where you can see every game in the first 3 rounds on DirecTV.com for only $69, all in high def. Tomorrow you also get bracket breakdown with coaches Calipari, Patino, Romar, Pearl, and Capel. And you can see these things only on DirecTV.
Wow, you've definitely done this before. Let me defer to the guys now. Bruiser, I'll start with you.
Well, Bill, you know, I got to ask you about the Philly guys, man. Those guys played pretty well for you this year. What you need those guys to do to help you advance in the tournament?
Just, Bruiser, you know those guys probably as well as I did, even recruiting them, you know, just to play tougher. They've come a long ways in 6 months, without question. And Marcus and Markeith are both very, very talented and 2 of our key performers. But as they just get a little bit more confidence, get a little bit more strength, play with a little bit more toughness, I think they can impact the game on both ends.
Bill, Steve Lapis, if you are National Coach of the Year, you certainly deserve it. I saw your team play early in the year. I saw you play late. I saw the UMass game. How did this whole thing come together with all these young guys to play the way you played at the end of the year?
I think, Steve, I'm in a pretty good situation here where there's pressure to perform here. I know there's pressure to perform at all places, but you know, here at Kansas, you know, losing is not acceptable. And we played with no energy early in the season, and we weren't selfish at all with our play, but we were probably a little selfish with our thoughts, a little spoiled, and guys got it together and certainly, you know, got tougher and enjoyed working. We became a good practice team, which is probably as important as anything else. But I'm really impressed with the way our guys grew up this year. We got a really nice team, but we got a nice team that can play very, very well when we're hitting on all cylinders.
Bill, how about the job Sharon Collins has done? I mean, leading a bunch of young guys to the Big 12 championship. Tell us a little bit about him, about off the court as well as on the court.
Well, I think Sharon is one of those guys that did not want Mario and Brandon and Shady to declare early, but when they did declare early, he knew this could be his team, and he's really taken that and run with it and really enjoyed it. You know, sometimes Sharon gets in his own way a little bit, but for the most part, great leader, been patient with the young guys, and as you guys can see watching him play, I mean, he's a guy you want the ball in his hands at crunch time, and he's certainly not nervous or tentative about taking any shot to win a game or even a big possession. And he, in my opinion, he's as premier a guard as we have in the country.
Bill, Cole Aldrich surprised a lot of people. Probably shouldn't have surprised him last year in the Final Four. Tell us about his development a little bit.
Well, you know, Cole was kind of our hidden secret last year until we played Carolina in the Final Four. The coach wasn't smart enough to play him. You know, we had all these other guys, and you know, I only averaged about 8 minutes a game, scored 2.5 points a game for us. But he works. He's got his body right, and he's got great touch around the rim, and very, very long and a deceptive athlete. And certainly what he's done this year, I know Blake Griffin is on a different planet as far as producing and everything, but you look in our league, I mean, here's a guy that's going to give you 15 and close to 11 every night and been very consistent doing it.
Bill, last year you went in the tournament with a team that was really experienced. Now you got a team that's really inexperienced going to the tournament. Do you change anything in preparation or practice to get the guys ready, letting them know, hey, this is a little bit different than the regular season?
Well, we've started doing some of those things, and obviously it worked so well in the Big 12 tournament when we started before the Big 12 tournament. But you know, little things like practicing every day at the same time you're going to play. You know, when you find out the game times. we got to learn how to deal with distractions and eliminate distractions, because last year's team had potential to have more distractions than any team I've ever been around, and maybe had the fewest because those guys were mature. And young players got to understand, you know, rules aren't for everybody else, they're for them too. And they need to be able to trust from people that's been there before, saying that, hey, you know, there's not time to do everything. And if we can eliminate distractions, you know, which all coaches talk about with their teams, I'm sure, then I think we have a pretty good chance to be successful. But I don't think young guys have the luxury of dealing with too much stuff.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right. You guys have a great night.
All right, good luck, man.
Thanks, Bill.
Good luck.
Thanks.